Hey everybody, been a while. Just been messing around with the SP404 Mark II 4.0 firmware and trying to update the reference, quick reference here. Definitely been finding some little bugs and issues here and there, but I mean this is a pretty big update, so certainly to be expected. Yeah, so if you want to see what the reference guide's kind of looking like, feel free to hang out. You'll notice some of these are upside down. Just the way that I have to edit these things so that the little zine style will fold and everything. Doing this in PowerPoint, so kind of getting done what I can get done. And I don't know, I'd say I've started to get I got the sound generator updated, although there's some bugs and issues with it, so I'm able to dig deep, too deep into it. Major updates are still trying to get the sample merge added and looper added, and from there I'll, I guess, start loading up and working on the guide. But I figured I can get this done in another couple days and all that fun stuff. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, audio seems to be working. So if I get over here and start playing around, at least we'll be able to hear things. If you can hear the click, I was messing around with the sound generator and it seems like it doesn't, when you do your sample export, it's not honoring, I will say, the envelope setting. And the envelope setting seems to be pretty limited anyway, but if you come in here, I'll exit out, zoom in, you can see here, this is the start of when it loaded in, and I had an envelope setting of like A or A1 here or something, and it's not, it's just taking wherever the oscillator happens to be in at the time, and in this case it happened to be a pretty much max volume, so we're not getting any like smooth transition, which is why we're getting this like click when it starts. It doesn't do that when you're in the sound generator, so it just seems like when you go export the pad, it's not applying the envelope. I've found using skip back is probably the best way to right now record your sounds because of that. The other fun thing I've noticed, if you look here, I don't know why it's doing this, but you can see it's clearly playing the oscillator at one frequency for about 4 cycles here, and then it like goes kind of weird and then switches into a different frequency. That's a lower frequency. Why it's doing that, I don't know, but this is a pretty consistent problem that I've seen for exporting or rendering out the sound generator. When you basically, I mean, to do that, I'll show you, Shift, record settings. If you just come in and hit record, it asks you what pad you want to go to, just hit it and then hit record. It'll export it basically out at whatever the pad length is that you set. You hear, it's got another click, but this is where it gets weird. There's like no click there, or maybe there's like a teeny tiny bit, but I suspect that might be an oscillator or something issue where it's kind of switching oscillators when it starts and then comes in. And it may have something to do with frequency settings and things. I haven't dug deep enough, but it's definitely not that full on click. And you can see here, yeah, I'm on envelope A, but again, we come in here and check this, and you can definitely see this time it's still not at the 0 cross, so that's why we're getting that click. Another thing I found, because I was trying to deal with getting rid of those clicks, so if you go into envelope mode, you know, usually it'd be like take a 1 here. You might not be able to hear it. I'm going to put this up a bit higher. I'll see if I can turn the volume up. It's probably blowing out the audio. I can see the mixer on OBS is like red when I do that. Sometimes I'm hearing like some extra tones coming in. I'm not sure if it's because of the amplification or something else, but I don't know. I'm, as I said, I'm gonna keep playing with it and see what happens, what's out there. So just trying to help document these things. Anyway, let's see. As far as the guide goes, you can see I'm trying to kind of organize and group each section a little bit better, and putting some of these kind of gray bubbles over them. It seems like it prints out okay. Although given the amount of space constraints, you can kind of see we're getting a little tight, so might have to remove some content and bounce things around, but I'm trying to help kind of organize things and help it out with some of the flow. If anybody ends up letting me know what you think, I'd be curious to hear. But yeah, so all over the place. Biggest thing I'm happy with is I kept wanting to get the MIDI in and out information. I was really wanting to get like some of the controls in. I had even forgotten that the DJ controls were added, so I was like, you know what, let's get that in. I get the effects controls in and the new transport controls in case anybody needs it. I just feel like that's a super handy, quick reference kind of thing to have in your pocket, is knowing what the MIDI CCs are without having to go flip through a big manual or something else. Actually, yeah, I was just working on before I just decided to load up the stream, I was just kind of working on getting the utility. Really the only big change for that I wanted to get documented was the bank mute. This is actually kind of an interesting feature because basically the way it works is if you're playing notes from one bank, if you have bank mute on, if you start playing a note on a different bank, it will immediately mute all of the notes playing in the previous bank. I don't know that I would do this much myself for a number of reasons, but I can certainly see this as something that could be useful if you are trying to transition songs and you need to have like that clean break because you don't want it to keep playing. It'll certainly mute that track or whatever else that you've got. The thing I do want to look into though is I'm not sure if this is, I haven't played with it. Actually, let's just do it right now. I'll switch to a project because I am curious if it does like a pad mute or if it's actually just stopping like with an envelope or something else. So let's go see because I am curious. I do want to change projects. Yeah, we'll just go. I think this is the default Roland sound set. So, all right. Yeah, this is the default, or maybe I tweaked it a little bit, but we have the default sound set. So we should be able to just check this out. We go bank mute. Let's turn it on and let's see what happens. Okay, stop playing. Now is it muted? Because that's... So shift, reverse, remain. Just so we can see. Exit out. Go back to bank B, shift, reverse. Okay, so it's not really a mute as much as it's a stop. So let's reword that. Yeah, because I don't know why they wouldn't call it bank stop, but we get what we get. All right. Good to know, because that'll help as I'm going through and documenting some of these other things. So I don't think there was anything else terribly exciting added in the utility settings, but might as well just go look just in case. Nothing, click. I think was the MIDI ext source new? Gate versus toggle. That might be a change too. I'm just gonna make myself a note. If you're curious, I basically just print it out, and it's a lot of pen and highlighter. I use the pen to write down the notes, and then the highlighter to cross out when I have completed getting the change done, or I'm set with it. So yeah, I need to check out that as well. Gain settings, that looks the same. Then of course version is going to say version. I don't think, it doesn't look like there's anything super new here. Pad color. I do need to learn how the color settings have changed. Because I know you can set the color per sample is what it seems like. I haven't played with that yet. Oh, I might have was the EFX settings. Other. Yeah, I don't think anything's changed there. I know we've got the new import Project SX. I don't know that I'm going to bother adding that to this quick guide. Export to SD card. Multipad I know is new. Need to get that added. Put a note on that. There's some notes on importing projects that I definitely need to go understand what they're putting in there, because it seems interesting, but I'm not quite sure what they're trying to get at for it. So, because I know I for doing the acid drop, I was able to go in and get that set up and working. So around 3.02. Don't think there's any backup changes, so that should be easy. Whoops. Man, that's pretty loud. All right. So I don't think there's anything else in utility to mess with. For import export, I definitely want to get something in here worded up about multipad export. Definitely running out of room, but multipad export. And this is just, I believe this is just patterns. Shift, import, export, multipad, yeah. So you select pattern. And someday I'll figure out what I need to do to stop fighting it, changing the tiny dashes to big dashes. Hello, how you doing, man? Having fun, staying out of trouble? Head source, and then, let's see. Okay, you can only select one. I don't know that that's what hopefully I'm not overwriting anything I wanted to save. I don't think so, but. Okay. Well, let's see, pattern source. I'll reword this later, but exports, stem, per pad, stems. I gotta shorten this somehow to fit on one line. Export creates. You been enjoying the 4.04 update yourself yet, Zito? Creates stems. Per something like that. I don't know. I'll work on rewriting that. And I'm not gonna cross it off the list yet. But let's see how this fits. Yeah, it's not as solid as 3.02, so don't feel bad if you want to move back to 3, but I mean, there's a lot of nice improvements, so it's definitely got some stuff that's worth it. Oops, we don't want to do one, we want to do the whole thing upside down. The sound generator is super nice. If you hadn't seen, I had done a pocket reference. I probably should have linked it in the description. Maybe when I've done the stream, I'll figure it out. But this is like a little pocket reference guide. So it's 16 pages. Kind of scrolling through here. This is like one side. You print it out double-sided, and it, yeah, got the cover, backside. So it's pretty dense. Basically, it is 2 sides. You gotta fold, yeah, you fold it in half with the cover outside, then fold it down. And yeah, the looper, super useful. But yeah, you fold it up. Here, I got a couple over here for some old copies that I printed out. So it's one of those things that, of course, I mean, I suspected that there'd be a firmware 4 or some other update, but it's like, you know what, I'm gonna get this done for 3.02. So it's like this little tiny book, and if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's just like, I just crammed through it full of all the information you want to know for like how to do different sample pattern mode, trying to get all the shortcuts and everything else in here. This early version, you can see, well, maybe you can't really read it, but this is the utility and import or export page that I have on there, and it is pretty blank. So certainly been kind of working on this, going through a lot of things, but the idea was to do like one of those tiny zine style pocket guides, exactly, and have like a quick reference that you can carry with you without having to have a whole bunch of manuals or anything. So definitely be updating the guide, but doing this has helped me kind of figure out a lot of the little tiny stuff and kind of streamline the information as best I can, even though I know it's pretty dense. So hopefully it's readable still for people, but it's a lot of work. I mean, just getting in the 4.0 stuff's been, it's just a lot of reorganization and kind of moving things around, but I'm hoping it helps people out. Back to here. I'm gonna decide if I was gonna move this up so that it's in the correct position, at least so I can see how much space we're taking up. A little low, probably about there. So I can flip it back over. Doing this is a lot of managing groups of content, so it gets get a little crazy. But I've been trying to get better at actually grouping and organizing these things so I can find where they are. Even though the top here shows a little bit off, I think we're good when we flip it back over. And we can start stealing some of the bubbles here to move them up. I am concerned. I don't think I'm gonna have enough room for this bottom spot. Let's see. We'll go grab, if it'll let me. PowerPoint sometimes is a little bit of a pain. Come on, let me do this. There we go. So copy, paste. I'm just doing this because I know that I have a consistent width that I can apply throughout. That, as far as I've been printing it out, looks all right. Hopefully on everybody else's printers it will still also work. All right, we want to line it up as best we can. I can't see that, but I think that's pretty good. And then out there, move to back. Actually, before we do that, let's paste another one. Grab it. Because we get a few of these three bar styles. About there. Paste another one. This is where I know I'm not going to have enough space because this is going to sit on top of the import export. Now I got to squeeze it in, which means I got to get this group. Missing these. I'll eventually regroup this stuff, but when I flip it, it's now going to be off the bottom, which will be a bummer. But okay, we can move these to back. Send to back. Group. Oh, not group. Send to back. Send to back. And this looks like it's a little... Oh, this is the problem now because I can't... I've got so many pieces here. I have to manage these. I gotta grab them different, get a hold of them a little different before I can group them. That one seems okay. This one's a little low. So do this. Probably about there. I'm just eyeballing it as best I can right now so I don't take forever on this. And now to find this so I can group everything together. Page, okay, just says page 14. Good enough. Multi-select everything. Arrange and group. There we go. So that's at least locked in together. Make it easier to work with. And we'll flip it. This is where I think I'm gonna find out I'm out of space. It's probably around there. Ooh, we just barely fit. So I got, for import and import export, I got a few more lines. I might have to reorganize that or something, but I do want to, at least I get the multi-pad in there. Just check my notes here. The note that I think we're good for that page. Done a ton of stuff in and around. And if any of you guys are, if anybody's out there, you got some questions, comments, or you just have like some suggestions, happy to take them. as I said, I know this is kind of dense, so anything to know what you guys think is working for you or not is super useful. I was going to put merge. Let's see, merge was going to go, yeah, here. So let's grab this. Just duplicate it. Oh, doesn't have, it's not grouped together fully. I guess we're going to need to fix that. Get all these. So it's, all I need to do is then tweak a few things when we copy it. So arrange. Oh, it already is grouped. I just didn't, I grabbed just the text pane. So let's try again. Grab it. Line it up on both sides. What is this? I don't know if I can fit sample merge in here. Nah, it's a little too long, but this is, what is it? I get the note, it's resample, shift plus resample. And I don't want to delete a bunch of stuff out of here. We don't need all that. That's for something else. Grab the good old manual and check out merge. Because I know you can merge, there's a sum and mult. Because I want to make sure I get the multiplies put in. So I'm going to have to test that a little bit. Merge up to 4 samples together to a new pad. You're having MIDI issues, pads without samples. Have you covered this yet? I haven't gotten that far yet. When you're doing the, when you have the MIDI issues, is it just like the, I don't know, I'll go to like Bank J because I know there's nothing here. Is it just like when you're doing this, you're just not getting anything exported, even though it's documented that it should? I know it's documented that it should be able to do that. I mean, what am I on for settings? Got MIDI. I'm assuming you need to have pad note out on, which I do. I could certainly load up Ableton and see if I can get it. It's been a while to see what I have for settings, but we can try. Come on. We can shrink this down. See what we can get. Don't need the lessons page. I'm gonna probably check my preferences for live. See if I have the SP404 Mark II even set up for MIDI. MIDI. SP404 Mark II's got track sync. So MIDI from SP. That's seeing it, which is a good start. Yeah, life is funny. As I've said in like a couple posts or other things that people were asking about it, like I just was like, you know what? I want to get the 3.02 done just in case there is a 4.0, because otherwise I'd get it done and then take forever to get to it. And it's only like a 10% at best change for the 4.04. So like, it's not, some people would make it out to be like a bigger change for the guide or for the reference pocket, quick reference than it is. The MIDI notes get stuck. Well, I do know, I've seen that the EXT source can get stuck for sure. Is that a different problem? That's weird. Subpad stays lit, even though it's sending a MIDI note. I'm not seeing anything get stuck yet. Although I do wonder, MIDI EXT source gate or through. I haven't played with this. But we're not getting EXT source to trigger anyway. There we go. You can see like EXT source is definitely getting stuck, but I think that's because of the setting. I don't know, do you have anything that you want me to try to see if I can get the MIDI stuck on my end? Happy to try it. I wonder what, gate's probably, I feel like I need to actually get this onto the quick reference, but hey, you're welcome. I don't know. I'm just doing this stuff to try and learn myself. I guess I don't know what that gate is doing. It seems like it's got the behavior it normally has, which I guess is fine. Although it seems annoying because I know every time I try and you try and like sample from some external source, you hit EXT source to do it, but it also sends a MIDI note and then you're hosed. So that can be super annoying. Yeah, I was actually, I got to go, I know I have the S950 stuff up on my website, on the blog area, but I was like trying to go through and see if I can find it for where I have it on my local drives, and I can't find it at all, so I don't know what even happened to that stuff. Yeah, the EXT source has been a problem forever, and I was actually kind of hoping that that setting would change it, but I don't see MIDI EXT source gate versus through helping. So I don't know. I'll have to keep messing with it. But at least I am at least gonna have to say I'm happy that we don't have to create blank samples or go through weird TR-rec contortions to get pads set over. Someday Roland will get to this. It's also funny that it doesn't work in the menu, but if you exit out, EXT source works. Oh well. I'll have to read up on, you know what the heck? What's the name of the setting? I'll go see if I can find it. In the manual, MIDI EXT source. So here, we're on the manual. Oh, you guys can't see. I didn't realize because I got the windows over on my other window for OBS. You can't see all the, I'm sharing the particular window, not the whole screen. So I was dragging stuff over to show you and you can't see it. Oh well. Yeah, MIDI EXT source. This selects how the EXT source button is triggered when notes are received via an external MIDI source. So what we really want is a change for how MIDI EXT source is sending MIDI to external devices, not how it's receiving it. Oh well. Maybe in the next update we will get a MIDI ext out or something setting for this. That's disappointing. Oh well. Back to merge. We'll get Ableton Live out of the way here. We need to copy some of this just to get some bullets here. So we've got merge type, I guess is what I'd kind of call this, which is sum or mul. How are we going to explain multiply in one line or less? Because it is interesting. You could potentially use it as a way to generate like envelopes and stuff, but like I'm curious, like let's take something. I don't think this is going to do anything super interesting, but shift, resample, we'll go like 2 and 3. And then instead of sum, move it to multiply. Enter for next. An empty bank over here. Yeah, it's what I figured. It's going to sound like it's going through some sort of a weird resonator or something. Because what's going to happen is every time you have a 0 cross on either side, it's going to force whatever is being played to 0. I mean, you could probably make some really interesting textures and effects with it. Because it's going to have like some of the rhythmic characteristics of both. And I wonder if it cares about BPM sync and all that. So I'll have to play around with it. But yeah, I could see like taking, go to the sound generator. Although this is also buggy, but you drop the frequency all the way down to like -36, so we're like LFO speed. We could potentially make something that's like, I don't know, we'll go 64. Period, and hit record. Maybe we'll get an output. But having this like doesn't always. Yeah, we're getting like the. We're getting the click, which is audible, and we're also keep having this problem. It like does this weird thing where starts at the very beginning with a different frequency than the rest. I don't know if that's because of the envelope, but like I don't hear it. It only does this when I render it out, which I just find like super weird. Anyway, like you could take something like that, presumably multiply the two together, do a new target, let it render out, and sounds. Oh, I didn't change it to mult. I just added them, which is why it's not going to sound any different. We'll delete that. We'll do that again. Shift, resample. Oh, it was on mult. It might be because that sample is so short that we would have to stretch it out or something to BPM sync it. I don't know. Because that's like, yeah, it would be hard to tell. The beginning sounds here a little bit louder. It seems like it takes like a little bit of time to catch up to the... It's getting... Yeah, there's like, it's changed the tone. I don't think it's applied it to the whole thing. It's just applied it to that like really short chunk. Anyway, enough goofing around. Probably boring as heck to watch all this stuff anyway. Let's see, how do we want to, is there a way I can get like a word or two in here? Some is, basically it's a mix, and mult is, I don't know, I want to say combined because that's going to sound an awful lot like mix. Modulate, yeah, modulate. It's probably as close of a example as I'll be able to get. If we got room here, maybe I'll even be able to describe what the heck that means. Control 3. Select, okay, so value, whoops. Let's go back here. So we got another bullet. Turn bold off. Select, sample is value, and set volume control 3. I feel like there's like some room here, at least I can put some notes on why you'd want to do this. Because like the resample, yeah, I'll probably do that later. We should be able to slide this up. Decent enough. We can delete, whoops. Don't want to delete the whole thing. There we go. What do we do for getting room here? Sample merge. Is it just merge? Yeah, I'm on. It's been a while. Still feel like I have more videos in me to record, although everybody's hit 4.04 pretty hard for videos, so I don't know. Do I put more out there or just go back to doing goofy stuff? Sample merge. I don't know. It looks a little tight. Who's gonna complain, right? Let's see, looper mode. I got plenty of room for this. I actually want to try and squeeze as much in there. Zito, if you're talking about the MIDI thing, that ext source sending a note has been an issue forever. So I think what he had confirmed was that when you do ext source, because it sends a, basically it's gated. So once it's on, it holds a MIDI note. And what happens is if you've got like your phone or computer or synth or whatever, it's going to send B0 and it's going to sustain it. So you have to basically hold it forever. And you have to go to your other device and tell it to stop playing that note if you can. Like on an MPC, you can do like the MIDI, like kill everything. But the way that the SP404 Mark II sends this note, it just holds B0 forever on channel 1, and it's just annoying. So like basically like you have to unplug your USB, pull ext source up, then plug your USB or MIDI back in, and then it won't like re-trigger that note again. It just makes sampling off of other devices onto the SP404 Mark II a little bit annoying. Is kind of the problem. But it's been around since ext source has been sending MIDI notes. For any of you guys that did print out a copy, is there anything that you like desperately want to see in the this little pocket reference, or you guys think I covered stuff pretty well and feel like I'll get the 4.0 stuff in well enough, hopefully? But if there's stuff that you're like, oh, please get that in there, happy to do it. Yeah, it's possible for the, I don't have a S1, but it is possible that the S1 is doing something to filter that note. If you go through and look, like a lot of, like even in their updated MIDI chart, it lets you know that B0 and a few other notes are reserved for specific functionality. So I don't know. Or they've got the S1 set to something other than MIDI channel 1 is also possible. I haven't looked, as I said, I don't have one, so it's kind of hard to look into, but if I had to take a guess, it's somewhere along those lines. Let's see. Looper has an awful lot of buttons to try and get documented here. We'll leave that. Controls, measure, control 1. Yeah, and for this, like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like you can kind of see some of these things on the screen, so I don't know if you need to get me to buy one. Right now I'm taking a break buying music gear. I'm still waiting for the Dirty Wave M8 to come in, so I might actually do some stuff to document that. Maybe not, I don't know if to the level that I've been doing the SP404 Mark II, but get that. There's actually some older rack mountable gear that I keep wanting to get and sample off of, but I haven't bothered yet. So one thing I do want to put a note in for the looper here. I'm going to do it while I'm on, like, thinking about it, because we'll switch to looper. For all you guys that don't know, I figured this out just playing around. So it says 16-second max. It is lying. You can actually get to a higher maximum. If you go, we'll set it to 4 measures. Oh, it's a marketing thing. Yeah, it just happens to work. It's just all the other gear that's garbage. But yeah, if you want to get to a higher max here, if you see, if you go to if you get 4 measures at 50 BPM, you can get to 19.2 seconds. So you can actually get 3.2 seconds more very easily. You can actually get a little bit higher than this. If you get to like 19.7, you can see it says 49.7 says 19.3 seconds. This is just where it gets to be a little tough to dial it in. But we can get to, like, I forget it. I'm going to figure out which it is. 48.8 gets us 19.7. I think we can get to 19.8 if I remember correctly. Dial back down to, I think if I go to like 50.5 or 49.5 or something, it just gets hard to dial it in. 19.7. 40. Oh, we can't get up to 49 now. I did this the other day. 49.3, 19.5. You gotta like really finesse it in there. $49.2. Because it doesn't like to go, like once you get to a certain point on the knob, it doesn't like to go further. 48.9. $48.7. I don't know why I'm wasting my time doing this. I'd already done it the other day. Yeah, 47.6 is not, it doesn't like that. 48 still says we're at max of 16. 48.3. There's got to be a better way. Okay, now it's just keeps going to 48.3 on me. $48.5. All right, I'm just going to put it down as for measure 48.5 BPM gets us. I might have got, I don't think I got it to 19.9, so let's see if we can get to 48.4. Yeah, you got to get it to the 48.5. That's where I got it to. Other than that, it just says 16-second max. Anyway, just a weird note. I don't know why it says 16-second max when you can actually get higher, but just general weird. Maybe there's a different BPM and measure combination. I mean, I guess if we double it, we should be able to get it to 90, was that 97 BPM? Should do the same thing if it's just doing the math. Oh no, we'd have to have it because we're going faster. Okay. Yeah, I'm just doing math poorly. Forget me. Back to this. I don't want the metronome on right now. Auto trig. We'll go control 2 clockwise is on, right? Yeah. Oops. All right, okay, so control knob 3 is tempo for sampling, BPM, oh. We go, all right, we'll go record, BPM, control 3, we go play rate. Quarter dub BPM, maybe. Have to reword that and squeeze it in a little bit better. Routing, oh, we got bus first with shift. Bus, try, +1, +1/2, looper, shift, Control-1, and we need to note overdub is looper. We need, how do I note this easily? I'll just write it. Overdub requires looper, because I don't know. I'll straighten that out later. Well, I'm glad I'm your hero, but I don't know why you guys don't deserve somebody trying to document all this stuff, overly explain it, and do super deep dives. I don't know, for me it's been helpful learning the device as much as possible. So I'm just happy to share with you guys and help folks out. Maybe someday I'll actually get to doing more interesting things and get back into recording and posting just music, but I haven't gotten back there much again yet. Man, why is my arrow keys not working? I probably have too many levels of groups or something going on. PowerPoint's just gonna fight me the whole way on this. I've done this a couple times. I wonder if I can squeeze in saying this is just ext source. Mix is pad. That's not going to fit. Don't worry, guys. I'll squeeze it all. My test of how well I can do this is squeezing everything in onto one page. It's been like a puzzle, big puzzle. Is it true? I forget. Oh, that's right. You can switch between level and feedback with the value knob. So let's see. Rec level slash feedback is enter, and value, whoops, value is the setting. And then shift value is metronome level. Okay. I wish that some of these things weren't so convoluted and they had a consistent control language. Like I always look at the TR rec, and the way that you get into TR rec from if you're in the record pattern menu versus if you're playing a pattern is different, and it drives me nuts. But it is what it is. But like, why can't we just use a consistent key combination for this? I don't know, but it means that it just makes having to enter all this information super... Like, this is why I scrubbed through the manual and stuff multiple times to see if it works. All right, one thing I wanted to check, because we do have... Oh, I'm gonna get Mark. Okay, we're out. So right now, subpad is set to subpad to play whatever's there. I want to check, because I don't know that we can get... I think we'll be able to get into looper mode if we change the behavior of subpad, but I want to confirm. Not MIDI, subpad play mode. We've switched it to skip back. Does this still... What? Okay, that's... all right. Oh, Roland. So, for those that are curious, the skip back mode, if you've got that setting I just changed for how the subpad plays, you can use Mark or subpad. I was assuming that that would also carry over to allowing us to go into looper mode, but this basically disables the subpad if you've got that setting set. Why you would do that, I don't know. Because it seems like it would be an easy one to just say, have the setting say like SBS/loop, and then you can just do it. Although I think it's like kind of a, for me, it seems like a superfluous thing when you can go hit Mark anyway. But Roland, what are you doing? All right, let's get rid of all those extra spaces. Just slide this over, or not. Arrow keys are real, I don't know what's going on. Arrow keys are all messed up on me. I feel like I need to make some space to note that. Skip back mode. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it would be nice if it would at least go to queue out all the time controllably. Maybe you can, I might have to play around with it. Like, I don't want to say that it doesn't do it because I haven't played with it enough, but it certainly is potential for not working the way I want it to. Let's see. Looper disables subpad behavior. Or is it just disable subpad and get rid of... We don't need to list the whole thing. I can change the order of arrow keys are not working. It's driving me nuts. Oh, I meant that to be a capital R. To buffer, looper disables subpad, seems fair enough. I can leave the rest of that for now. Put the space back, bold it. Yeah, if you guys are wondering, this is pretty much what I do when I have my free time to work on this stuff, is what it looks like. Less talking to myself, though. Let's get back into looper and see, what else did we have? We got metronome volume. Then there's a few more. Because this is all about recording. So now we're going to say, record loop is rack, overdub mode is resample, which is correct from what I remember doing this yesterday and the day before. Running out of space, but I've got a couple lines here that are too long. Clear loop buffer, delete, export buffer is copy, undo, redo, overdub is shift plus pattern select. I don't know that I want to document the stops the playback of all samples because I've already got that someplace else, but good to know that you can do that from here. Pitch speed plus a pad sends the tempo to the pad sample. That's actually really handy for being able to play a pad into the looper. I'm going to try that in a second. Let's just document. Set looper to pad tempo is pitch slash speed plus pad. All right. I was concerned looper was going to take up this much space, but I think this is actually pretty much it. I might actually squeeze a little bit more space because I think that's probably a little high. I'll be able to slide this, oops, get this group together. Let's slide this, sneak it up. I'm not like concerned about all the formatting being complete. Yeah, I'm trying to make helpful stuff last name, first name. Seem like I'm sometimes getting there. Let's see, get rid of that extra space, pull that in a little bit so it's a little tighter. Overdub, instead of saying overdub mode, let's say resample. We're gonna go, see if we can fit, of course I just added it. Bus looper, maybe something like that. I don't know, it's a little tight, but we'll figure it out. I mean, this basically is a master list of shortcuts in Pocket Guide style. That's, I mean, like all this bold text is pretty much shortcuts. So trying to go through and explain what they do or what section, the way I think about how the SP404 Mark II works. So, yeah, I mean, like, you know, pad mute, shift reverse pad, all that, all that stuff. So if this is what you're thinking about, this should be it. I'm just trying to go through and like categorize all these things, how they work, and then all the things that, as best I can, like the weird side use cases, if I've got space for it. Haven't always had space, but I may also have to figure out how do I print out into a little bit further into the half inch margin that goes around the 8.5 by 11. But yeah, if you haven't seen B-dub, I mean, this piece of, I know it's tiny screen, but like this piece of paper is basically 2 sides of paper, and for one page, you fold it up, put a staple in it, make a couple cuts with some scissors, and you've got a pocket reference that has pretty much every shortcut organized as best I can for the different sections that they go to. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, I've got the 3.02 version linked up in one of the second to last video that I posted up on my YouTube channel. So it should help you. It's just been trying to figure out how to organize all this stuff into adding the 4.04. It was already getting kind of tight with 3.02, and yeah, as you can see, like some of the stuff's kind of running off of the bottom for the page. And I've had like a couple people reach out to tell me that their printers can't print, like they're getting like half of the bottom part of the page cut off. So as I make this even tighter for all the information, it's going to be that much harder for some folks, I guess. But I'm also happy to print this stuff out. I mean, I got it up over on Buy Me a Coffee if anybody wants me to print out a copy and mail it to them, but absolutely not necessary. You can print out your own copy and have fun with it. Well, I know there's been like a few things that people have said are weird as well. Oh, you don't have to subscribe. I don't think I ever ask people to subscribe. Have I? Nah, I just figured I'd put the stuff out there. If I wanted to get a subscription base, I would certainly advertise or figure out how to do it, but I don't know. I just find all that stuff super annoying, so just like whatever. People will show up if they're interested, subscribe if they are. So I appreciate the subscribe. Stick around, hang out. Go through the 700 SP404 Mark II videos I've got. I know that's insane. I don't know if anybody's actually even watched through all of them. It's just too much. I apparently have a problem and need to stop, or just pick a new instrument to start deep diving into more. How do we get this space up? Okay, we got the bus looper requires looper. Maybe that's enough to pull that in. I've had one person that works for Roland reach out and was like, "Hey, would you want to do videos? Would love to see you fill out some of their catalog." And I said yes, but they never reached out to me. The Roland official never reached out to me. So who knows? Maybe someday they'll get desperate, but I guess they've already got their own people for doing stuff and documenting these things. I don't know. Maybe the routing doesn't need all that extra information. Maybe it just needs to say mix and ext. Mix and ext in. I'll come back to that one. But that at least gives us room to get this back up here, because I do feel like I want to note max time 19.8 seconds. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. We don't need it to be bolded. Set to 4 measure 48.5 BPM. I am missing, because they actually don't have in the documentation that you can hold shift to do fine BPM control. Actually, I should also see, can we do shift enter? No, it's just switching between. Shift value. Shift, wait, am I doing the metronome wrong? Did I shift plus enter gets, okay, shift enter and then value. Because that's not, I was reading it as, so you hold shift, you can see it says metronome, but you have to hit enter to get to it, and then you can do that. Okay. And what do we do for BPM? Let's see, like I can do this maybe. See if it'll fit. Shift. Oops. Shift plus. I mean, it's optional to get fine control there. I know I'm squeaking it in and it might make it confusing for somebody, but hopefully they can read that and realize. Did I say in parens was, yeah, optional step. So I should actually switch that to a parenthesis, I think. Wish my arrow keys would start working again. Whoop. Shift. But I don't feel like restarting PowerPoint to see if it comes back. Fix all these up. Shift plus pattern select. I should say undo slash redo. Fix all the little hyphens. So if you watch all of them, have you actually watched every single one, or are you in the process of watching through them just to see if you can do it? Well, guys, I think unfortunately I'm going to take a break here. I got to drop and go take care of some stuff, take my dogs out and all that fun thing. So I'm going to end the stream here, but thanks for stopping by. Keep making music. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.